Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland. And before we get started, please go to PayPal, Patreon, and fundraiser above and below, depending on where you're watching or listening or reading this. I'm providing you with a lot of researched, contextualized and analysis about you and your future and the future of the human race. Whether it's $1 or $100, take a moment to support my many thousands of hours of work. Thank you. All right, here we go. France is a major COVID Great Reset testing ground, and its citizens are the guinea pigs. Look carefully because it is all Westerners' future staring you in the face. Pictured above, Chinese graphic artist Crow and Unicorn, that's his anglicized translation, it's actually 乌合麒麟, sums up your COVID Great Reset future with this metaphorical depiction of U.S. cops choking George Floyd to death with a knee to society's proverbial neck. Note before starting. In my previous installment, I clearly demonstrated that the COVID Great Reset is a propagandized plandemic. I empathize with you that the cognitive dissonance and drive to deny it is very strong. Nevertheless, the West's trillionaires are hell-bent on human harvesting your Anglo-land and their other vassal states, as they have been doing since at least the 1870s, with one crisis, war, bubble collapse, fraud/scam after another, averaging every decade or so. COVID Great Reset is just the latest and most audacious variant to save extractive, exploitive, enslaving global gangster-bankster capitalism for the 1% at the expense of the 99%. So if you didn't read the first part of this subject, go to the previous installment, and it's entitled COVID-19, The Great Reset, is a book by World Economic Forum, WEF, founder Klaus Schwab that foretells your short and long-term future. Huxley and Orwell could have never imagined what is in store for Western countries. Time to wake up to our oligarchs' demented dystopia before it is too late with downloadable PDF files. That was on November 30th, by the way. Today's the 4th of December. I also updated my extensive body of work on COVID, which walks you from my earliest research and reporting to the present, and I made some mistakes earlier on and figured it out and got bigger, better, faster, smarter, taller, all around more informed. And it is entitled, It's All Here, the China Rising Radio Sinoland COVID-19 Chemical and Bioweapon File, Film, and Tape Library. Again, I exonerate all the communist, socialist, anti-imperialist countries from the West's plandemic, since they are simply reacting and adapting to it to protect their peoples and economies, and it must be said, for which they are doing an incredibly successful job. So, here we go. When the second total lockdown started the beginning of on November 1st in France, a friend told us that if it went past 1 December, they would have to declare bankruptcy and would lose their house and small business. There are millions just like them. On 1 December, the French government, quote, lightened, end of quote, the second total lockdown to allow more small businesses to open back up. However, restaurants, cafes, bars, clubs, hotel room service, sports facilities, theaters, community centers, exhibition centers, cinemas, museums, galleries, libraries, holiday and tourist centers, and the like. It's financial ruin until no earlier than 12 January. This from the peak November-December to Christmas post-New Year vacation and shopping period. At the same time, the Gestapo Ministry of Interior graciously extended our Nazi-esque online/mobile phone travel passes to leave the house to show at any moment while out under the threat of a €135 fine from 1 hour to 3. Gee, thanks, Ghetto Commandant. 7 kilometers away, we went to Bayeux yesterday, our magnificent medieval prefectural town, which is like a county in the United States, which is usually throbbing with people this time of year. There were so few shoppers that it looked like a neutron bomb had been dropped in the city center, leaving the building standing while wiping out most of the people. For centuries, French people have loved their restaurants, cafes, and bars. These venues are the historical, cultural, arterial system for commerce and the retail economy in France. No wonder there were so few shoppers, with a number of the small businesses not even bothering to reopen given the paucity of customers. This is France's second police state lockdown, so maybe they are already in bankruptcy. Even those that are open have to limit the number of people in the shop 1 to 4 at a time, further choking off business and destroying the psychology of convivial commerce. 10 kilometers from us is lovely Port-en-Bessin, the 7th largest fishing port in France. They had to cancel their huge annual scallop festival, as in shellfish, scallops, the beginning of November, which normally draws tens of thousands of tourists from all over France. Receipts and taxes into the local economy this year, a big fat goose egg. France has thousands of local and regional fairs, exhibitions, and the like, all of which are shut down. As I wrote about in my previous article, our village's D-Day 6 June 1944 museum is mothballed. It is the lifeline of our local economy, drawing in hundreds of tourists and passerbys every day, even in low season, and of course, hundreds of thousands starting in April. As a result, every business here is shut down other than government-permitted, quote, essential services. I talked to the mayor. He said we can gut it out until the spring, but if there are further lockdowns next year, there are going to be serious consequences and hard decisions to take. It's tough shit for my town, or tant pis, as they say in French. Do I think there will be more and more lockdowns in 2021, 2022, 2023, and on? I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. It is also easy to forget all the secondary and tertiary vendors and services behind commerce and trade. We have friends in France's fishing industry. They are one-boat entrepreneurs. A huge part of the fishers' business is tourism, hotels, and restaurants. Ditto all the wholesalers for fruit, vegetables, cheese, meat, beverages, alcohol, janitorial and restaurant supplies, etc. That is all gone now. Not to mention services like linens and laundry, repairs, maintenance, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, accounting, bookkeeping, IT, and the like, most of whom are small business entrepreneurs. Sorry, Pierre et Pauline, you can starve to death in France. Or as Marie Antoinette famously said, let them eat cake. Not to mention all the transporters who move all these goods around the region, many small 1 to 5 truck operations. Need I mention the primary suppliers, farmers who are still mostly small and family-sized in France, and their umpteen vendors? Think about all the plethora of inputs not going into farms as a result of France's forced economic embargo. We have friends who are farmers, ditto family bed and breakfast venues and their particular list of vendors. The French have a long history of being very entrepreneurial, and there are hundreds of thousands of one-person, probably millions, one-person to small businesses, 2 to 20 workers, as well as a huge number of medium-sized businesses, 2 to 100 workers across the country. We can also mention tertiary industries, electricity, water, gas, fuel, parking toll fees, vehicle repairs, road and park maintenance, and all their suppliers. Fewer vehicles equal fewer spare parts with all their suppliers, and on and on. Shutdowns cascade broadly and deeply in an integrated, interdependent modern economy. Like the brown shirt jackboot knee on society's metaphorical neck in the painting above, the neoliberal, cacocratic, deep state-controlled French government, with its Goldman Sachs, Sheldon Adelson, toy boy robot president Emmanuel Macron, can be given permission to lessen the pressure on the economy's circulation for a certain amount of time. Then, like a Sisyphean yo-yo, they can create another hysterical big lie propaganda machine, BLPM virus scare, shut it all down again, repeat and re-repeat, embargo after embargo, to slowly get the millions of bankruptcies and beggary they are aiming for. Remember our friend at the beginning of this article? How many more staged virus shutdowns before they lose their house and business? Friends, fans, and followers of China Rising Radio Sinoland, it's called the COVID Great Reset. France is an obvious test tube and the citizens are lab rats. Your Anglo-land's trillionaire owners can stretch out the pandemic as long as it is needed to slowly crush the West's economy and turn the citizens into non-wage earning, non-owning, rent-paying beggars, happy to get a subsistence level, quote, universal basic income, end of quote, to keep from starving under a leaky ghetto roof. As for fascist police state control, it will go like this. Dear Mr. Brown, we noticed that on your website you publish very negative antisocial articles. If you insist on doing so, you risk being deprived of your monthly basic income. Or, dear Mr. Brown, it has been reported to the authorities that you are spreading mendacious rumors that France no longer has its cherished liberté, égalité, fraternité. You should be grateful that your leaders are doing everything in their power to protect you and keep you safe. This is your second warning. One more report on you and your monthly basic income will be reduced by 1/2 until further notice. They are driving the West into a gigantic, hellish, Hunger Games coal mining town economy where you will be tracked and buying sparse victuals from the company store while borrowing money at usurious rates to get it. That great metaphorical song about capitalism by Merle Travis, 16 Tons, depicts your COVID Great Reset future. And I have the YouTube embed here. If you can't get YouTube, I downloaded it for you. And so you can click on it if you're on my website. And here are the lyrics. 16 Tons by Merle Travis, a.k.a. your Anglo-Landers COVID Reset Blues. And don't ask me to sing. all of you will leave me, but I will read out the verses. Verse 1. Some people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood and skin and bone. A mind that's a weak, as in W-E-A-K. A mind that's a weak and a back that's strong. Chorus. You load 16 tons and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Verse 2. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up my shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, well, bless my soul. The chorus. You load 16 tons and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Verse 3. I was born one morning, it was drizzling rain. Fighting and trouble are my middle name. Raised in a canebrake by an old mama lion. Can't know a high-toned woman make me walk the line. Chorus. You load 16 tons and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Verse 4. If you see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men didn't, and a lot of men died. The one fist of iron and the other of steel. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. And the closing chorus. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Westerners in your Anglo-land's global vassals need to take heed of hopeful verse 4 above and its metaphorical call to resist the tyrannical dictatorship of capitalism, because if they, you don't, your future will be a 21st century biochip tracking implant, COVID Great Reset version of the 20th century coal mining town where Merle Travis grew up in destitute poverty and hunger. A French writer, Cédric Durand, has already given it a name and sounded the harbinger clarion call to resist with his book Techno-Feudalisme. Hopefully the English translation, Techno-Feudalism, will be out soon. Hey, you know what they call the 99% in feudalism, don't you? Serfs and slaves. This is Jeff J. Brown signing out, China Rising Radio Sinoland. And again, please consider anything, $1, $2, $5, whatever, for all my thousands of hours of work to keep you informed about your future. Thank you.